how about rather than getting it off the backs of the vulnerable, again, sound familiar? How about you got it off the backs of those who could afford to scrape a bit off their backs?
Any policies other than to say you have options, right? Any policymaker has options, and some might have said, for example, that greater tax reforms focused on wealthier New Zealanders might have achieved a similar outcome whilst not doubling our rates of poverty.
I'll tell you the most immoral option, which was to do nothing.
Oh.
And
Nobody
we took
suggested
our courage in
that.
our hands and
Nobody's saying do nothing.
So Jack says, how about another option? And her response is, at least we did something. I've written down on one of the other clips as well, and it's not for this one, it's probably for the last one. I do find it quite repugnant that she refuses to, cannot or won't take any accountability for the decisions she made in the 1990s and how it impacted not only people in the 1990s, but set up a trend of impact for the next 30 years, which has just been shown to her thanks to that woke group of economists at Stats NZ, Chewie. And he does ask a fair question. Why didn't you think about finding all this money off the backs of the rich? I've said it in a slightly different way. And she said, well, at least we tried something, Chewie. At least we tried something, even if it meant a cycle of poverty for twice as many kids today than there were back then. At least we tried something, so you can't hate us for that.
I picked the option that meant less awkward conversations for me at the club.
Yeah.
Because if I went after the rich, people would try and talk to me about it. If I went after the poors, then I never had to worry about it ever again.
The only time we had to worry about it was when I had to, my friend who owned 17 houses, their tenants struggled a bit more to pay their rent, but that was okay. We got past that one.
Like, this could have been a really interesting point of conversation for someone that was across economics and wasn't just wholly fucking driven by commands from down below. Like, this could have been, look, at the time, the thinking was that if we did this, this would happen, and then we'd just dealt with more poverty anyway, so we just thought we'd keep New Zealand businesses going. You know, it would have been a more honest answer than, oh, what, you want us to do nothing, Jack? Well, no, that's not what I said. You wanted us to do nothing? It's such a bullshit answer. I can't believe that they gave her a King's birthday honour this year.
Yeah, well, guess who gave it to them, though? Look, this has got 60 seconds to go. So let's get into the stand and double for Dobby, the house elf here, and see what else she's got to say about what we're talking about. Oh, why didn't you tax the rich? Over to you, Dobby.
moral option, which was to do nothing. And we took our courage in our hands and did the right thing. And the economy prospered.
No, you did a thing. You did a thing. You didn't do the right thing. You did a thing.
You're not putting up the stats that showed the rise in growth, the rise in employment, the halving of the debt, and putting the books back into balance. If you were balanced, you'd be showing those statistics.
Well, let me say this.
Oh, then there's a little bit of act there. If you were balanced, there's accusing the media of being biased. Do we pick up on that, people? A little bit of there comes a little bit of the David Seymour tactic. Undermine.
So hang on. She's saying that because of the decisions that her and her government made, that she brought up increased levels of growth, which is something that Luxon won't fucking shut up about at the moment, that's the focus. It's growth. Growth. And that's what she wanted. She wanted New Zealand businesses to grow, and that would lead to prosperity and less poverty, right? So we looked at the stats of how much poverty has improved. Growth doesn't solve poverty, clearly. So then why is our current government going back to the same poisoned well and saying, trust us, guys, it'll fucking work this time? This is what we're dealing with.
All right, we'll try and get to the end of it with Mitch McConnell's twin sister here, and then see if we can wrap up.
And putting the books back into balance. If you were balanced, you'd be showing those statistics.
Well, let me say this. It's certainly true that you totally changed New Zealand's debt track. I think no one would dispute that, and I think people would agree.
Badge of honour.
Well, yes, But at a significant cost.
No,
I mean, here we are 30 years on, and twice as
Yes.
many people by that severe poverty measure. Twice as many children are in severe poverty
The
households.
significant cost would have been an unreformed economy.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Nobody owes us a living. We're a fantastic little country. We've got to be edgy in our policy and in our politics. We've got to take decisions that many others won't. We've got to put public finances on a sound footing, as I endeavoured to do. Those are the big decisions that have a huge impact on the social and economic prospects of your society.
So let me ask.
Yeah, there you go. You know, the other thing that you have to always think about with big decisions is...
I've got big people doing big jobs and big portfolios.
yeah, that's the other part of it as well, though. Chewie, you've had a couple of epic rants that people have already been talking about in the chat. I feel like you want to wrap up with Ruth Richardson? I'll just throw you the balls. What else you want to mention? That was a great interview by Jack Tame. It's almost like she's not smart enough to realise the path he just led her down. So, anyway, yours, sir.
The fact that she refers to her actions as a badge of honour.
Badge of honour.
She perked up. That's the best part of the interview. It's a badge of honour that I did this. I would like her to do a speaking tour through every town hall in New Zealand and speak to the people that lived through those events that she describes as a badge of honour. Like, it crushed people. It broke families. It killed people. She hasn't reflected on that at all. Now, I keep on saying the economy is made of people. For her, the economy is made of numbers and graphs, and that's it. If you don't fit into her vision of what the economy is, which is pure, unfettered capitalism, which needs unemployment to work. It keeps wages low. People are afraid of being on that breadline that she cut 24%. And that's just the raw facts of how much she cut it. She did. They don't speak about how hard they made that for people to interact with the machinery of the government to get help.
I mean, imagine just imagine the 24%, so a quarter. So if you're on the minimum wage right now, let's just call it $1,000. It's $940. Imagine someone coming along and going, "Yeah, you're now getting paid $750." That's it, $750. Just taking a quarter out.
Think about the other things that happened around that time. State houses went on market rents. You know, so you get your benefit cut and your rent goes up. You're double fucked. Yeah. Badge of honour. You know, and I think this is the danger when people that don't remember their history vote. And it's concerning to me that we have learned nothing, or we have forgotten everything, because once again, Luxon is talking about growth is the solution. Growth is the solution. That'll get us out of the trouble that we're in. It's been proven it does not work. Yeah. There have been things that this country has been through that have left long-term effects on our society. You know, the idea that we should have a welfare state, cradle to the grave. You know, that had massive effects on our demographics and how our society progressed. You had massive projects like Think Big, almost bankrupted the country, but we're still living off the products of those programs. And yet when we get to Ruth Richardson, like, we should be treating her physical form and her legacy like some countries treat nuclear waste. It should be encased in something that we should write, something that there is absolutely no honour in this place, and we should bury her under a fucking mountain.